Hi everyone, this is Alf Ali. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing okay. So today I'm doing a body view. This is actually for a free launch, and they are currently Diamond 5. They mainly only play Mercy for this entire game, and they basically put it's a win. They put the things, they think they need to work on is, honestly, I felt like a bot during this game, as I don't look entirely concentrated this entire game, and I kind of just let Sombra farm me. My Valks were questionable, and I used it on cooldown. I have a hard time, when the enemy team hardcore dives, and I felt like I played worse because of it. This wasn't a super long game, but my games have been quite uneventful recently, and that's alright, sweet. As we're recording this, obviously Mercy going into season, are we in 14 now, I think? She's okay. She isn't the best pick, I will be honest, but she is still very, very playable, okay? So we could definitely have a look to see how we can kind of combat against these like certain dives. I will say, if you are struggling as Mercy with dives and stuff like that, I would highly recommend kind of switching over to Brig if you desperately need to. But it is also very doable to be able to outwit Sombra and other like bits of dive, basically. It's just kind of making sure that you're kind of using your GA at the correct time. So you're kind of saving your GA for when they come to dive, because I'll take an example, because they have a diva on the on the enemy team right now. With diva, you want to try and make sure that you're saving your GA for when diva uses her boosters, because if you go and you, for example, do a sling GA and diva has used boosters, and she has, her micro missiles online as well, she could just like literally just fly up to you and could just completely mow you down. It's better if you wait for diva to use her boosters, or if you need to GA, do a kind of GA cancel or some kind of like normal GA, like don't add a sling onto it or anything, because then that means that it's going to be a lot harder for that diva to be able to come and dive to you, essentially, or just save your GA for afterwards, basically. But we'll look to see how we can do, improve essentially, and maybe like be a little more concentrated while we're in the game. But just really quick as well, if you guys do want your own Mercy VOD review, are you wanting your own free Mercy VOD review? I do them live on my Twitch for free at 2 PM UK on Sundays. They cost 7,500 channel points, which you simply get by just watching the streams. If you can't make it that time, then do not worry, as I also record them offline whenever I'm free, and all of them get uploaded to this channel. But if you guys want to see any of my own gameplay as well, you can visit my main channel. If you do need any help with anything, then don't be afraid to message any of my lovely mods on Discord. The links for everything that I've just mentioned will be down in the description. Now, back to the VOD. And yes, we'll get started. We are using the Holly Jolly skin. Very, very cute, very festive. I absolutely love it. I love this skin when it came out into the shop. I wasn't expecting like a recolor of Jingle Bell, but it is very cute, very Christmassy. Love the vibes. Love the little question mark charm as well from the World of Warcraft collab. Very, very cute. Looking at your team comp, so for our team comp, we have ourselves a Doomfist, a Sojourn, a Genji, and a Moira, okay? I will say Mercy Moira isn't the best support comp, but you can make it work. You can very easily sit here and damage boost your Sojourn. However, if you do want to get a little bit more aggressive, specifically if your Moira doesn't have feed, you can also go in and help the Genji dive in with the Doomfist, damage boost them and stuff like that as well. It just purely depends on how your team comp goes to play, which you won't know until you start, playing the game more, essentially. So, we'll get into it and see how it goes. Perfect, so already we have our Sojourn to begin with, which is absolutely what we should be doing. Nice, lovely GA to cover. Very, very nice. Just give me 1 second, I'm just going to turn up my game sound a tiny bit, because I fear it might be a tad bit low on my end. There, that's a tiny bit better for me. But nice that you're going to go get the turret for yourself. You've managed to knock down Lifeweave, which is perfect. Nice picking up with your Doomfist. Make that GA though, so instead of just doing it a straight up GA, by the way, make it a, make it a sling onto the platform. The reason why we have to make it a sling onto the platform is A, you have this option to be able to go into the room, but also B, it means you can get your beam onto your Doomfist a little bit more. Your Moira has already used her fade and is quite far back, basically, so it's going to be very, very hard for her to come and help your Doomfist, essentially. So what I would do here is do this as a, as a sling or something onto this thing. You'll realize Diva's here, in which case, she's used her boosters, you're going to have to kind of fly yourself away, in which case you can fly kind of like behind this car or something if you need to go and help the Doomfist. But essentially, you just want to try and make sure that you're helping out your Doomfist a tiny bit here, because this is where the issues with Moira Mercy comes in. Both of you have to be quite kind of close range in order to be able to help out your team. Okay? Keep it going though. So you do end up doing that, which is perfect. Nice peel for your Moira as well. Very, very nice. Nice. Once again, make that more of a straight J up until the high ground. And it looks really good so far. Perfect. Okay? Awesome. I don't mind you pushing forward here, because obviously Moira can go and sit in cap, which is perfect. They've switched to Sombra now, which is perfect. I say perfect sarcastically, by the way, just because obviously, nice. Good, good, good. Nice pick up with your Genji. Okay. Fair enough, okay? You obviously, you're not expecting kind of what's called the Sombra just as yet, because obviously, we're still kind of reacting to the switch. So it's fine if you casually just get a little bit hacked out here. Let's quickly see what we can do to be kind of like a little bit more, what's it called, aware of it. So we're here, we're helping our team, and we're helping these guys. It's this super jump here that I fear stops you, okay? Do you need to be up in the air like this? No, is your answer here, okay? You don't need to be up in the air like this. I would recommend with these two, come and play down here, because you can reach your Sojourn and jiggle up your Sojourn like this, and also you can help your Genji like this. You only need to super jump up if you need to go and help your, what's called, your Sojourn, because it means that you're forcing the Sombra to come to you. If you force the Sombra to come to you down here, you have time to react, go into this room, bear in mind as well, there is a health pack, I think, ever so slightly over here as well, if you desperately need it. But it gives you a chance to be able to react to it by coming through here, and hopefully your team should react to that. If not, it gives you a chance for the hack to wear off. It means then that you'll have your GA back, so it means you quickly go and grab one of these guys, and then GA and sling yourself away, and once again another health pack over here as well. So whenever you're playing against a Sombra, it's very much kind of knowing where she's going to come from, and making sure you have some kind of hard cover or a teammate that's going to be able to help you out with it. Because if you have a nice piece of hard cover already available, you can use it. My one key thing is do not start off in the hard piece of cover. Start off here. Sombra will come forward and hack you, which means you can use the hard cover to block off while she's trying to chase you. While she's chasing you, gives you a chance to get your GA back on, and then you can GA yourself back, okay? So there's no need for you to do a little mini super jump up here, because it's not giving you any kind of better view, essentially. And obviously you don't want to stand up on here, because it means that the Sombra can very easily come and get to you, okay? Keep it going though. So sadly we do end up getting picked off, but it's all good because we do end up kind of capping the point. It's just to make sure that your DPS don't get picked off here, which I fear your Sojourn might. But that's all fine, all well and good. We're just going to reset, go again. So they are running a bit of a hard dive at this point, because obviously they've got the Diva along with the Genji and the Sombra, okay? So at this point, we're going to have to make sure that we're mainly saving our GA for when we desperately need to get away from them. You are probably the main target for them, along with Sojourn. Nice. This is exactly what I mean by using our GA and the Diva's not used her boosters. Let's quickly go back, okay? So, go back into you. So, we're coming out of spawn, which is perfectly fine. Okay? We use a sling up to our Sojourn, which is fine, because the Sojourn is our main blue beam. That's what we want to use, okay? Nice. It's this jump here, okay? I know that you want to try and get your beam onto the Sojourn, okay? But where are we going with this, though? All you're doing is you're just doing a mini super jump in order to try and make sure, you get your beam onto your Sojourn, which is what you should be doing, okay? But instead, what I want you to do is either use your GA to sling yourself back into this piece of cover, so it means you can kind of use it, sling back in here, so it means you're going to be far away from the Diva, or we just literally use it, we literally kind of drift out ever so slightly to get our beam back on, and then we can G ourselves back up onto this kind of high ground or something. All it's just doing a mini super jump here to be able to get our beam onto the Sojourn is what ends up kind of getting us picked out here, okay? Remember, I would rather, especially in team comps like this, you prioritize looking after yourself rather than you kind of put yourself into kind of harm's way, essentially. You want to try and make sure that you're keeping yourself up, because if you stay alive, there's going to be more opportunities to be able to damage boost, rather than you kind of like just put yourself into a bad scenario just to put the blue beam on for like for 1 second, essentially. Okay, so in this scenario, I would probably look to kind of drop down and sling myself back in or something, or do a quick little drop down to get the beam on. Remember, you have Beam Linger, so you can maybe use Homura to G yourself back around as well. You have so many, like Parisio, especially the second point, you have so many fun movement options as Mercy, okay? So utilize them. There are so many fun wall bounces you can do. There are so many, like, fun, like, little rotations that you can do that a lot of people cannot, okay? Really, really utilize that on this second point, okay? So, oh, hold on. I don't want to do that just yet. I wanted to get back onto you. So we do end up kind of obviously using our GA to back out, which is perfect. Nice peel, obviously, from your team. And we're going in to go and help the dive, which is perfect. Because obviously you do want to kind of work down that Diva, especially because you kind of end up baiting her in. Good res. Just with the res, make sure you know exactly where you need to go back out to. But overall, very, very nice. Nice help with the Genji. Okay, this is what I mean by the Valkov cooldown, okay? This is purely due to your bad positioning here, okay? Let's quickly go back. So, this is all fine. This is where it gets a little bit iffy, okay? Yes, I know you want to try and get your beam onto the Genji, okay? But maybe use this GA to get yourself onto this high ground here, because if the Diva comes and dives you, you have this piece of hard cover for a second, which you can drop back, and you can very easily just drop down and bait the Diva up, okay? It's all about yes, getting your beam onto someone, but finding somewhere that's safe for you at the same time, okay? So I would do that. We do not need to Valk here, and the reason is because let's look at the team, okay? We will pick off Genji here, and the only person that's really kind of contesting us right now is the D.Va, because your Life Weaver is over here, and Sombra and Ana we've already picked off, okay? So you're basically Valking here in a like a 5v2 basically, okay? So I would rather you looked after yourself and use, you know, use your cover, you know, instead before trying to look for the Valk, okay? In team comps like this, if the enemy team dive, especially when you get to a high elo, right? If the enemy team dive you and you Valk, there is physically nothing you could do basically, because Valk isn't really a defensive ultimate, okay? So if you try to Valk for their engage, especially when it's a a comp like this, you're gonna find it very, very hard to keep anyone up, okay? Valk in this kind of scenario is going to be used to keep yourself alive, okay? However, you need to prioritize your own positioning first and then use the Valk in order to kind of help with a certain dive onto you basically a little bit later on, okay? So use this GA to get up to your Genji, but play around where I'm basically stood right now. Have your beam linger around for a second. If D.Va dives you, you could drop back and come all the way back around here essentially, okay? We'll keep on going though. So we end up using Valk though, but I want to see what we end up doing. Remember as well to damage boost the deflect, by the way. So we end up using it. That's fine. Nice push on the damage boost to get aggressive though. I do respect it. Nice. Good cloak out, by the way, of the Sombra. Really make her panic. Okay. No mini super jump here at the end of Valk. We don't need to keep this high, okay? I would basically end up your Valk on this high ground. The reason is because you can maybe try and follow up with the Genji Blade. Now, I will say this is a very aggressive Genji Blade and it wasn't notified unless it was, you know, said in kind of team chat, oh, I'm going to go blade this, okay? Normally, Genji's be like, my ultimate's ready, and then they'll go in with you, basically. But at the end of your Valk as well, we just want to try and make sure that we're in a piece of safety. In which case, I would be over here. Genji says his ult. I already have my GA ready to be able to try and follow up with him. And bear in mind, so you don't need to like kind of fully commit with him. You can maybe try and get a beam onto him as he, you know, slashes through basically. Use that GA to get yourself over to here. And then you can keep kind of helping the Genji from over at this nice safe distance. Because obviously you don't kind of want to, you know, just chuck yourself into the enemy team and be like, hey, I'm going to help with Blade, you know. Because most likely both yourself and the Genji are going to die in that scenario, okay? So just at the end of your Valk, make sure you're, you know, in a safe place. It means that you can get your beam onto the Genji to do a GA, use it to sling yourself over to here, and then carry on helping your Genji with the blade over here if you need to. Alright? Keep it going though. So the Nano D.Va, which obviously means the Genji's going to fall, so that's fine. Same thing again, make sure we're kind of putting ourselves into a nice spot. Good peel. Good. Make sure at some point during that you're making yourself another sling to get yourself back like over to here basically, because we don't want to take damage ourselves. If we start taking damage ourselves, this is where this whole system breaks down, okay? Because currently the system is you got your Sojourn, Moira will heal the Sojourn, you will heal the Moira, okay? However, if you start taking damage, that puts pressure on the Moira and also yourself, because you're like, oh, well, the two people are critical, and you want to try and make sure we're not staggering ourselves here, because we want to try and get a really nice, quick reset basically, so we can go in with the next team fight probably with a Coalescence and also our Doom Pistol, okay? So just make sure you're kind of getting yourself that one step back just a little bit sooner here. Okay, keep on going though. Nice. So your Doomfist is back. One thing I will say, if Doomfist has his ult, do not worry if he goes in kind of, if he's critical. Sorry, don't worry if he goes in when he's critical or very, very weak, or if he goes in very, very aggressively, because you know he has that ult, and bear in mind as well, his ult gives him shields. So just don't worry too much if you see your Doomfist go in aggressively. Be like, okay, cool, you go and do that. And then, you know, you could try and help follow him up after the ult if you desperately need to. Alright, we'll keep it going though. So nice. Okay. Can't do anything too much. It's an EMP. Make that sling over to here. I felt like you kind of like just sling you sling yourself back in order to try and like, you know, mitigate from the EMP. EMP is pretty much just a team fight win unless if you've got something to physically, you know, help counter it. Like for example, if Kiriko misses out with a Zuzu, or if your Lucio has beats or something like that, essentially. It's very, very hard, especially with the team comp that you've got, to be able to kind of counter the EMP. Okay? So Your sling back is perfectly fine. The only issue is you kind of lost aim with where you wanted to sling to, okay? Because you have a sling, you sling back and you're like, okay, cool, I'm safe now. And then so there's just D.Va charging out, you're like, rah, you know? Okay, what you need to do here is make sure that you're slinging with a purpose here. So you're up here, weren't you, right? Make this sling, it's perfectly fine you slinging back, but peel it off. I would recommend peeling it off into a room like this, for example, or up onto these stairs. The reason is because then you get yourself some more hard cover, so it's harder for the D.Va to get to you, and also you can get back to your enemy team a little bit sooner, okay? Compared to kind of just sling yourself out over to here. Can you see how you're still very out in the open, and even if D.Va wasn't to dive you, Genji still can as well? It's very much still a lost team fight though, let's be honest, okay? But you could definitely try and make sure that you're keeping yourself up, bait the D.Va and make her fly out, do a quick little res on the Moira, and then you guys can get yourself a really quick kind of collapse back into the team fight, basically. Especially because they've lost their honor. Alright? We'll keep on going, though. Let's have a bit of my drink as well, as we wait for you to respawn, essentially. Perfect. So, we're back. So, we're just going to try and get back to our team now, basically. What I'd be doing here for this team comp, by the way, make sure we're peeling for Moira a little bit sooner there, by the way. Oh, hold on, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Whenever I hear a Sombra, like, hack, or I just hear Sombra in general, that just sends panic signals to me. And I'll be there, like, what kind of thing? Whenever, like, I'm looking, okay? Whenever you hear the hack, make it seem like a panic and be like, who is it kind of attacking, basically. So it means you can go straight to kind of helping who it is, basically. Alright? Keep it going, though. Oh, sorry, what I was going to say as well before I said that is I've been looking to try and link up with your Sojourn as soon as possible. The reason is because you want to try and build up a Sojourn ult here. Genji is very far away from his blade. Now, obviously, it's fine right now because your Sojourn, I think, is still respawning, okay? But as soon as you get an opportunity, link back up with your Sojourn to try and build up that Sojourn ult because it might be needed for this final recontest on the second point because you want to try and make sure you're helping build her ult up as much as possible, okay? Nice. I love your flicks onto the damage boost here, by the way. They're really, really great. Nice. Blades in. Good GA away from it. Very good. Very good. All of that was played beautifully by Fritach, and that's how I want you to play more, okay? Love how, obviously, you know the blade's coming, so you end up kind of backing yourself away. You back off to a high ground, which is perfect, so you're not kind of just floating out into the open. You float up here. You realise the D.Va will probably come and dive you, so you drop down to go and help with the rest of your team and also stop the dive. Beautiful. That is how we need to play all the time when we're playing as Mercy. This isn't just for ults like Blade or like, you know, or like when D.Va's going to dive us. You want to do it for everything. So even if the Sombras might come and hack you, if the D.Va wants to come and dive you, anything like that, okay? I feel like whenever you're playing Mercy against these kind of heroes, you have to be like constantly on high alert and be really, really kind of strict with where you want to be, okay? We'll keep on going though. So, Sojourn sadly falls. We cannot res this yet because D.Va is obviously holding on to it. Okay. We know that D.Va's still stood here. This is just not going to be a res opportunity, okay? There are certain times where res is just not a viable option, and unfortunately this is one of them. If you saw D.Va dive back fully, then yes, okay? But I feel like you're trying to rush this res too much, okay? Remember, res has such a long kind of what's called stint where you can do it. And don't worry if you can't get the res off as well. Remember, your spawn is only just here, okay? What I would do here, instead of trying to go for the res, is I would maybe try and get myself forward or wait for the, or literally just wait it out, okay? Your Genji and your Doomfist are still really, really healthy right now, okay? And all you're just basically forcing yourself into a bad scenario just to be able to get a res off, which you don't want to, okay? Instead, literally just sit and wait it out. D.Va will either dive into you, in which case you've got a spawn, you've got a Sojourn, and these guys could just absolutely wreck the, what's called, their supports, or the D.Va will end up kind of peeling back to go and help the supports. That gives you then an opening to go and help the rest of your team then, basically. It's all just about that bit of patience and make sure you're waiting for them D.Va boosters before you go to do anything yourself, alright? So you do end up kind of going back. Nice long sling out. I would have recommended that would go upwards, by the way, instead of, you know, just on the same height, especially because D.Va has just used her boosters. Same thing again, okay? We're super jumping up and we're making ourselves a target for the Sombra, okay? Let's think about where else we could play here, okay? So, nice damage pistol coalescence, okay? We GA ourselves in. This is fine. It's this GA, okay? Instead of gearing ourselves upwards, maybe let's go into the room here. Because if we go into the room here, we can have options. We have options to help the Moira, and we have options to help our Genji and our Doomfist. It also means as well, if Sombra wants to get us, oh look, I've got another room with a health pack that I can very easily back off to and meet the rest of my team here as well. I also have opportunities here because, like, for example, if I'm playing here, I can use my team here to jam myself in and back out and do whatever, basically. This is where Parisia is beautiful for Mercy, because there are so many small little hidden rooms that you can very easily just kind of fly yourself in and out of and to, basically. However, us doing a straight a straight super jump into the open like that, it's just providing ourselves like a free target and being like, hi Sombra, come after me. You know what I mean? So instead here, make yourself do a GA into here or something. So it means you can help your Moira, but also help your team, and it means that you're not making yourself a target for this Sombra. Okay, keep it going. So, bit of dying, unfortunately, there. Also, bear in mind as well, we do have our Valk here. So, if Sombra does end up chasing after us, you know, after hacking us or whatever, once our hack wears off, we can always use our Valk to be able to get back and go and help our team. That's a perfectly fine time to use your Valk in these kind of team comp scenarios. Alright, that's fine. We can't look for a res here. We just have to kind of basically do a reset, so that's fine. Meet it back up with our Genji is perfectly fine here. Nice. Nice. This is a fine Valk. This is a very fine Valk, okay? The reason is because obviously you're trying to play as you know, as far back as possible, especially out, you know, away from like the D.Va's booster range and stuff like that. This is a perfectly fine Valk because I know that your Doomfist is like really wanting to kind of go in and commit here. And right now your Moira and your, you know, everyone is still respawning, okay? So this is a perfectly fine Valk to kind of keep up that aggression from your Genji and your Doomfist, okay? Let's keep on going with the rest of it, see what you end up doing. Good, good, good. Just make sure we be really, really careful with our positioning here. Good. Love how aggressive you're being with this Valk. Make sure you're staying with your team, though. Okay. This all became lost after our Valk, okay? Can I just say your Valk was really good in this case. I loved how aggressive you got with the Valk, but it was at the end of the Valk where we start to have issues, okay? So, this was all perfect, and it's this super jump right at the end. I don't know why you super jump here, because you're in really, really good cover. Plus, as well, they don't really have a hit scan. Apart from the Ana, which could obviously shoot you down, but man, she's gone, okay? So, playing up in the air in your Valk here is completely fine, as long as you're being careful of where the Sombra is, basically. Where the Sombra is obviously back over here, because she's got your Sojourn, I believe, okay? So, love the aggressiveness with the Valk. However, you do not need to super jump yourself all the way up at the end of your Valk like this, okay? When you're coming to the end of your Valk, literally just play kind of above this kind of like little petal range, so it means you can stay in beam range. Because what ends up happening is you end up kind of leaving beam range here, and then you don't have the opportunity to be able to kind of like, what's it called, get beams onto people as quick as possible. Now, the EMP... And then it's this GA in just a second, I fear, that goes wrong, okay? I know that you can hear the Genji, okay? But where is the best place we can go to get away from a Genji? Up. Okay? Whenever you're playing, this is specifically for tracers, okay? But also just everyone in general. If you can get above them and make them force a cooldown, for example, like a boosters, like a dash, like a translocator, anything like that. If you can force them to use that ability, it makes it 10 times easier for you in the long run. I'll take an example here, right? So Genji has to dash onto you, okay? If we play up here, Genji can kind of dash to us. However, if he's on the low ground or anything like that, he has to dash and then wall climb, okay? So A, that's already more time, giving us more time to go around and back around, okay? Second thing, okay, let's have a look. Let's see if D.Va wanted to dive us. D.Va would have to use her boosters, in which case it gives you a chance to, once again, go around and then come back over here. Same with Sombra. Sombra has to use her translocator, and then she's kind of stuck and doesn't have any movement opportunities again. Can you see how us going up here gives us a better range than doing anything else? And it's fine for you to go up here because they don't have a hit scan, okay? They don't have a hit scan, so you actually have a little bit more freedom with what you want to do, essentially. So instead of forcing yourself to come down here and then kind of like you know, allowing the Genji kind of like just to walk onto you. Instead, look to go up here. Genji will then dash up. We can then look to maybe drop down, or we can look to maybe back off into the room, whatever. However, essentially, you just gotta look how the Genji plays, essentially, okay? So it's just making sure that you're looking for a way to be able to keep yourself safe, as well as being, you know, away from the Genji. All right, we'll keep on going though. So what you end up doing is you end up obviously G'ing yourself forward, because that's the only real thing that you can do, and obviously we end up getting picked off there. But to be honest, it's not too bad of a team fight. You know, we forced out Tree, and we also forced out EMP, and we only used our own blade for that, basically, as well as your Valk, okay? So it's kind of an even out team fight, basically, so it's not too bad. Alright, nice peel for Genji. Make sure we're staying in beam range of him, though. Nice. Nice. That's fine. You're playing back here. Good peel. Good peel. Nothing more you can do there. That's your Moira's fault. Nice. Use that GA, by the way, to get yourself forward. D.Va is going to peel back, okay? Because she knows that, obviously, you know, her honor has died here. Okay, so she knows that she needs to back off and try and help her team now, especially because obviously her life was really, really weak as well, okay? Use that opportunity, look at that kill feed, see that the honor's gone. You know D.Va will want to fall back. Use that as a sling forward. The reason why we need to use that as a sling forward is that we can possibly maybe get our beam back onto the Genji. If not, it's fine, because obviously then it's just another team fight reset, basically. But it gives us an opportunity to be able to try and get back in and go and help that team fight, okay? You can't do anything for your Moira, by the way, in that scenario. That's just on her, basically. Alright, 30 seconds left. Is probably going to be last team fight. We need to try and make sure that we're building up our kind of Valk if we possibly can. Once again, Moira uses her fade to go in, which she shouldn't. Which means if she gets dove, once again, that's on her. Nice peel, though. That's a really good pick onto the Genji. Same thing again. Don't be slinging yourself up. Make sure you get your beam onto the Genji a little bit sooner. Same thing again with the Valk on cooldown. We don't need our Valk here. We haven't fully entered the team fight yet, okay? And also, you can very easily beam all these people when we're, when basically where we are, okay? Because we can still keep up with our Sojourn, and she's probably will want to use her ult in a second as well, okay? And also, we're using Coalescence as well. One key thing I will say, it doesn't really matter too much with the kind of the support you've got yourselves, but whenever you're trying to kind of balance your support ultimates, try to have it so one team fight you use yours, the next team fight the other support uses theirs, and you kind of alternate it, okay? You don't want to be kind of using both of your ults at the exact same time, because then it means you end up with the next team fight not having any support ultimates. It becomes very, very hard for your team to push in, essentially, okay? So you do not need to Valk here, okay? We've picked up the Sombra, which is a perfect pick, especially because she is so, so close to EMP, okay? So this is a perfect opportunity for us just to essentially just push the damage boost and go in. We can Valk if you feel like the team fight is going to start to not get won, okay? But remember, we've got so many ults to commit with, we don't really want to use our Valk in this case, okay? So we could just save the Valk in this scenario. Good push on damage boost though, but same thing, we can basically do all of this without our Valk, okay? Good, good, good. Good, I love your damage boost uses though. Like as soon as you know who you need to put your beam on and kind of like get to it, your beams are always perfect, okay? No, stay on the cart, by the way. We can go push forward and try and get picks. It's Moira's job there. Nice, we forced both of Honor's cooldowns, which is very, very good. Nice. Perfect. G yourself up here. Nice. You don't need to pistol the Sombra though, because this is going to do nothing, okay? I understand if your team want to try and find where she is in order to attack her, especially if she's close by. Fair enough. However, if she's not close by, don't go pistoling for her, okay? Just kind of note it in your head, maybe ping it, or if you're in VC, tell your team, be like, hey, the Sombra's here, and then just go and do your own thing, okay? The main thing with Sombra is just you just need to kind of know or be aware about whereabouts she will be. So it means that you can, you know, do your own thing. And the best way to do that is either to ping it, or just kind of be noting where it is, and either let your team know if you can, or, you know, if you just want to ping it as well, that's more than happy, okay? We'll keep, just kind of quickly rewind for a sec. So what I want you to do here is instead of going up like this, go up with your Sojourn, okay? I want you to slide up with your Sojourn here and go and play aggressively here. You can stand up on this kind of little bit of a high ground here, so it means you can have like a good view. You can also get a little bit more aggressive and play on the stairs. It's completely up to you of where you would like to play essentially, okay? But you want to try and get in a little bit aggressively here because then that means that you're ready to help your Sojourn in a second when she gets dove, okay? Sadly, you can't really do too much about it due to the damage of the dive, but it's a very, very nice peel back from you. Nice. Get straight back in with your Genji here, by the way, though, okay? You're playing a little bit passively here. Your Genji is still quite healthy. He's got a really, really good vantage point here, okay? Just do like a slight GA forward, a little GA cancel, and go and play up with your Genji, okay? Don't be gonna kind of, you know, don't be going fully in, because then it means you're going very, very close to your diva, which you don't want to do, okay? So all you need to do is just do kind of like a slight G forward just to get your beam onto the Genji, even if it's just to come over to here, just to keep up that aggression over here. Your Moira can heal up the Doomfist. That's her job, especially looking at the health that he's got right now. He's really, you know, quite healthy. So just, honestly, just do a slight GA, go and help your Genji who's slightly forward here, okay? Keep on going, though. EMP's happened. That's fine. That's a... To be honest, that's not the best EMP by them as well, let's be honest. Nice. Good GAs here as well. It's a very bad, what's it called, EMP by them, by the way. They should have saved that for a little bit later on. Can't do anything there. Don't G forward, okay? You've essentially just done a GA just to get yourself back to where you were, okay? You know that the diva is here. So you G'ing yourself forward is going to make you a target for the diva, okay? All you need to essentially just stay back or look to go and help someone else here, in which case look to maybe GA to your Genji. You don't want to GA in and out here because it makes you a target, essentially. Okay. A little bit too slow to react to the Sombra there. Let's quickly rewind it. And I think it's all to do with this GA here, okay? If we, instead of doing a GA in and out like that, we used a GA to get to our, what's called, our Genji, we're going to be out of the way of the Sombra, okay? If we're going to be out of the way of the Sombra, she's most likely going to hack our, what's called, our Moira instead or anything like that, okay? So just make sure you're doing a sling forward to go and be aggressive with your Genji here, rather than just playing so far back, okay? We keep on going. So sadly, you're doing it kind of getting hacked off. And then we end up, you know, sadly falling there. But that's fine. Reset. Go again. We have one more team fight available. We have Blade and we also have Doomfist ult. So it means we need to try and follow up with Blade if we possibly can. Especially because we don't have a nano or something to be able to follow up with it. Good damage boost there, by the way. Love that from you. Nice. Get aggressive here. Get aggressive here. Once your team start winning their team fight, especially when you're playing with like a Genji to Doom, get yourself involved and get yourself in there, okay? As well, if you're playing very, very passively as Mercy, it makes it very easy for the Sombra just to easily hack and get you, basically. However, if you're playing a little bit slightly more aggressively, it's a little bit harder, especially because you have your team already there to help and peel for you, essentially, okay? Nice. Bombs in front of car, so that's fine. We just got to obviously be careful of it. Once again, get aggressive here. You want to try and get these pickoffs early. If we get pickoffs here, like for example onto the Sombra or onto like anyone else by damage boosting our Genji, it allows us to push this car even further forward, and it means that they have to take, you know, more time to be able to get a group respawn available, okay? So play a little bit more aggressively here. Nice. So you're again just calling for Blade, so I'll be pushing up with him here, so it means that we're ready for it. So use that as a GA forward. Unfortunately, you can't help there. Nice res though onto the, what's called, onto the Doomfist. Just make sure that our Genji's okay there though, because we're focusing way too much on the cart here, okay? We could also hold off from using our Valkyrie, okay? So at this scenario, you're again just calling out that he's got Blade. I would want to play with him here. The reason why I want to play with him here, it means that we can go in and we can dash in and go and help with the Blade if we need to, okay? Now, we end up using our Valk. We can't do anything for our Doomfist there, okay? So if you see your Doomfist is antied, okay, just leave him. Leave him alone and instead go and help your Genji with the Blade, okay? You'll get... If you go and help your Genji with the Blade here, okay? It means we probably have a better opportunity for him to get a pick, okay? Compared to the Genji who has a nano blade, okay? Can you see how there's a difference in kind of like, you know, the damage, I guess, with these two, okay? So, I want you to use it to follow up. We can then Valk to go and help the rest of our team on point, though. Okay, because then we can have, like, just hover here and, like, you know, split ourselves between the two. So we can go and help these guys, but also help our Genji, okay? So we can use our belt in that kind of instance, okay? But don't just ignore your Genji, though, because your Genji is the one that's doing quite a bit of damage right now. These are the ones that need a little bit of peeling, okay? Which is fine for you to peel. I like your res as well here as well. This is a very good res. Okay? Just make sure with this that we're not spending too much time looking at our Moira, okay? Because I know obviously that Moira needs help. But remember, her health bar is on the screen, okay? And also she has this healing orb as well that's nearby, okay? So as soon as she's above half, go and help your Genji, okay? Because we need to try and keep up as many people as we can, especially because we've lost our Cass and we don't have our res for him anymore, okay? So I've been looking to try and make sure that we're helping our Genji a little bit sooner here compared to what you do. Okay? Same again with the super jump. We don't need to super jump at the end. We still want to try and help with this team fight, remember? Nice. With all them mini super jumps, by the way, try to find a piece of cover instead. Good movement from that Genji, though. Very, very nice, good movement. Awesome. Try to just stay on point. Good damage boost to go in. Love this aggression. Do this aggression more. I like this. This is good. Nice. Okay. I've been looking to make sure I've got an escape route out, by the way, because they're most likely going to touch. Oh, they don't anyways. What should have happened is the life viewer should have come on, or like the honor or something should have come on to be able to recontest it, basically. So they would have got a longer team fight, but they don't end up doing that, okay? But on your kind of end, make sure you know you have an escape route. For example, here, I would be... Why can't I get out of this view? I don't know why. But anyways, I'd be looking to try and get up, you know, the high ground that's slightly behind you. I'd be looking to make sure, if I know they're going to start recontesting it, that I'm going up there, basically. Alright? Especially because they've got the EMP. If we're caught out on point with EMP, we're just going to die. The team fight ends up ending, and we don't end up getting the third point. Okay? So it's just making sure that when we know they're going to start recontesting, we're already pre-backed off for that, okay? But apart from that, Fritach, you're doing really, really well, sweet. It's mainly just making sure that you're saving your GA and everything for when... I love that spray, by the way. That's so cute. With obviously the Moira April Fool's one with the Mercy wings. That's quite cute. But yeah, it's just making sure that you're basically saving your GA and not doing these like mini super jumps when you know they have sombras and like dive characters and stuff. We need to make sure that we're saving our GA for that. Okay, we'll keep on going though. Looks like they are switching up a tiny bit because they had themselves a venture this time. Which is still obviously, you know, a bit of a dive basically, but it's not as potent, I guess, to you compared to the Sombra. Okay? So nice to start off with. Nice GA back to the opposite high ground. My main thing here is play back, okay? The reason why I want to play back is if the diva starts to, you know, want to dive you, basically, you're stood here. Compared to if you're playing back here and the diva wants to come and dive you, you can already drop down and back off. So it means you take less damage, okay? But apart from that, really nice so far. Obviously, good peel for Ashe. Nice push forward here. Nice peel for your, what's it called? Your Genji. Just make sure we're backing ourselves off there so we don't end up kind of, you know, getting dove by the Cardiff and Moira there. Bad position on her behalf. You're going to expect them to come in now, okay? If you're expecting them to come in now, I want you to start playing some cover, okay? Play in one of these rooms. Can you see how out in the open you're playing right now? Because you're just playing on the point, okay? You can still help both these guys by playing over here. And also you have a straight LOS of your Ashe if you need to go and help her. Us playing over here, we've cut off the LOS and that kind of what's called that escape route from our Ashe. And also we're very prone to anyone coming to attack us that's main, essentially, okay? So I want you to play in this room instead. If Diva decides to dive you, we just pop a beam on someone and do a wall bounce away, basically. Or if we feel like she's not going to be able to body block us in this window, we can do a straight J out to our Ashe, okay? So it's just making sure that we're playing in some kind of piece of cover. Alright, keep it going though. Nice, just keep damage boosting there when he's antied. Remember, anti lasts for, I think, about 2 to 3 seconds. So it's all good. We know Diva's going to dive, so don't G yourself into the room, okay? Get yourself into some piece of cover here already, by the way, because you can hear the Genji above. Nice. Doom ends up falling. Diva's obviously going to camp the res, so we don't want to kind of do anything with that. Yeah. This is just, unfortunately, a lost one at this point. Your Genji just goes into stall. That's it. Reset. Go again. Okay? You can't really do too much about that team fight, sadly, because it was your Moira's fault for that one due to some kind of bad positioning. But it's all good. We reset. We go again. Okay? So, coming up, we've got ourselves nearly a Bob. And also, Ashe has got some beautiful sight lines down this first point, okay? So we can very much kind of like just sit with her, which is very, very nice. Nice. Nice peel for your Ashe. Good heals. Stay up on the high ground. We'll decide to save our GA for a different time. Can't really do too much for your Genji there, but what you can do is you could try and help finish off maybe the D.Va with the Doomfist. Once that D.Va has flown away, though, you have the opportunity to go for a res, by the way, so I do hope that you try to go for that. You end up doing, but that's fine. Nice. Can't do anything too much for your Ashe there. You could pop a Valk, though. You could pop a Valk. You could pop a Valk. Pop that Valk sooner, okay? I want you to pop that Valk sooner because you can get the res off, okay? And I would rather you got the res off than, you know, what's it called, than try and bait out the D.Va as much as possible, okay? The more that you kind of leave it, the more time that it basically leaves you to be able to, you know, die with your Valk, okay? Because especially if D.Va ends up kind of just pulling out a micro missiles and you pop your Valk and then you end up kind of Jing straight into her, or she ends up kind of tracking you really, really well, it means that your kind of self-regen with the Valk hasn't kicked in time, okay? What I want you to do instead is pop it as soon as you want to, basically, in order to try and, like, help with the dive here, so use it for your own survivability, because then your passive will kick in sooner, basically, and also it gives us more movement options to be able to get this res off onto our Ashe, okay? We'll keep on going, though. So, again, use this as an opportunity to go and res Ashe, in my opinion, unless she specifically says, I want to switch to something else. Nice GA away, obviously, from the, what's it called? From the bomb. Blade's coming in. It gets nanoed. Good positioning for all this. I will say your positioning with Blades, or apart from this bit, really nice escape, though. My only thing with this is make sure that you're going behind the roof here rather than on top of it. But other than that, you're playing really well against the Blades. I want you to do that all the time now, especially when you're, what's it called? When you're playing against a D.Va, okay? With this rotation, by the way, don't make it on this side, by the way. You can easily rotate and do the exact same thing just on this side. Just saves you from taking those two shots from the Ana, basically. And it means you can get out a little bit kind of safer, basically. But other than that, a very, very nice rotation out, okay? Okay, it would save us kind of getting picked off by that D.Va and also make sure that we're kind of J'ing ourselves back around the corner. Alright? Nice from your Doomfist and your Genji, though. Very, very nice. I feel like you guys end up winning this team fight out, which is perfectly fine, okay? But it's just making sure that you, like how you did with that Genji blade just then, play like that all the time against dive, okay? Keep it going, though. So again, a nice, obviously, team fight reset. Ashe is going to probably get dove. Nice. Drop down, drop down. Just drop down for a second. There's no rush for you to be with your team here. Okay. Play back here. While the D.Va is just stood up here doing her own little thing, okay? Play back. Your Doomfist is completely fine right now, so he's okay. And your team are probably not wanting to kind of go in or use any of their movement abilities just yet, because obviously D.Va can very easily just go in and dive them, okay? So there's no reason for you to kind of G yourself forward here, okay? Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to G yourself kind of just back and play your own life for now, okay? Maybe try to force D.Va to int into your team, because then you can use another GA to back yourself off even further, and your team should be able to peel for you for that, okay? But there's no need for you to kind of G yourself forward in that kind of scenario. Right, we'll keep it going, though. Nice. Push forward here again as well. Make sure we're pushing forward. Good peel for your Doom. Just make sure that GA is into some cover. Nice peel for your Ashe. Can't do too much more there. Good, good, good. Yep. Good that you play that passively there for a second to make sure that D.Va doesn't end up kind of focusing you. Very, very good there. Really good from your Genji as well. Nice. Nice staff whack as well. Love it. Awesome. So, keep it going. We have Valk for the next team fight, which is perfect. And they have switched to Mei, which makes it a little bit easier for you now. Obviously, I know the Venture wasn't really diving you, but if the Venture was, obviously, that'd be not very nice. But because you only have Genji and D.Va now, means that you have a little bit, what's it called? Of a more opportunity to be able to, you know, be a little bit more free with your movement, basically. Alright, keep it going, though. Very, very nice. Nice. Keep damage boosting your Ashe until you know that, what's called, the anti's worn off. That's something that you learn kind of like over time and everything. What I will say though right now is currently you're being shot by a Mei, and I don't think you've really realised it, okay? If you want to kind of play with someone, I know it's really, really hard on where the Ashe is playing, right? Because you don't want to play in this room, because obviously the D.Va could very easily just come in and just dive onto you, can't she, okay? So nobody really wants to play in this room. So the best bet is obviously to play over to here, but if you need to play over here, play here. And you can very easily just jiggle peek your Ashe like this. The reason why I want you to do that is because us standing up here, can you see how that gives a very easy sightline for the Mei? Whereas if we play over here, not only can we keep in beam range, and also we have a very nice drop back, but also we're staying out of LOS of that Mei, okay? So whenever you're trying to pocket someone on this high ground, especially if you know they've got someone that will come down here like a hit scam, play here-ish. So it means that you can kind of like play like this ever so slightly, basically. Alright? Keep it going though. Nice ping though, just obviously let them know that it's there. Don't super jump into it though. Make sure that we're just using that as a normal sling just to get yourself up. That's a very good tree. This is a fine Valk. I don't mind using this Valk. Nice damage boost on the Bob in order to try and maybe get some picks off. Your Ashe has done really well in this team fight as well. Nice. Push damage boost. Very nice. Good, good, good. Nice. Really nice team fight there. I respect your Valk there. That was a very nice Valk. Okay? Keep it going though. So, nice ping onto the D.Va. Obviously showing that she's there, basically. Don't be afraid to kind of push up and just like a nice little GA sling, maybe just go and help like your team for a second and come back to the Ashe, by the way. Just to get those extra little bits of damage boost in and also be able like to be a little bit more aggressive. Nice. Make sure we go to a piece of cover there, by the way. Do a nice little backwards G or something there just to create distance rather than just walking back. Nice peel for Ashe. Once again, make sure that's 2 sun cover. Good damage boost onto Moira. They pull her away, which is fine. Once again, good use of damage boost, especially on your second support. Good G out. Nice. Okay. I love this from you, and I'm going to say this in case anyone from like any kind of lower ranks is watching this, okay? What you've just done perfectly here, Fritach, is leave the Genji. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, oh, but why would you leave the Genji, okay? Whenever people get hit with a blizzard, it is very, very hard for essentially yourself to be able to keep anyone up, okay? And this is this is absolutely prominent whenever you got your Valk, okay? Because you never ever want to Valk for blizzard, okay? I love how you just essentially just ignore the Genji because you're like, okay, he's going to die in the blizzard and go straight to go and help your Ashe. Perfect. Okay, we'll keep on going there. I want to see what we end up doing here though. So we end up kind of slinging ourselves back. Bear in mind as well, you have this piece of high ground to your advantage here. You can sling yourself up to here, okay? The point still has, so the point needs to get to this like little blue circle bit. It's still got quite a bit of distance to go, okay? So don't worry too much about having to touch the point or going to the point or going back here essentially. I would rather you played up here like this, and then you can possibly maybe get a res off onto the Genji by standing up here. It just fully depends on how healthy your Moira is and also what the D.Va's doing essentially, okay? But really, really nice to go and help your Ashe. Just make that rotation up to here instead, okay? But keep on going though. That's not you, that's a Moira. Good peel. Jay, a little bit sooner there, bear in mind. Good, good. Okay. If you were safe, stay in that space, okay? We were really, really safe where we were. And can you see how we're basically doing a GA before anyone has used their boosters again, okay? If you can try to bait out the D.Va for coming to you up here and you do this GA instead, it means that the D.Va is basically stuck where she is, very easy to go and pick off. However, if you do this GA too early, then it means that D.Va will still have her boosters and can very easily fly off and stay alive, okay? This is where you kind of baiting out them boosters is so key as Mercy, okay? So instead of you kind of staying up there, you know, if you're safe, stay in that space, stay up there for that little bit of an extra second and then peel yourself back, okay? Keep on going though. We don't need Valk here. Nice res though. We don't need our Valk here though, okay? Because we already know that we've kind of killed off the majority of people. You know, we got Genji when Blade was sorry, we got Genji earlier on. These two guys who were playing very passively for the time being, and these were the only two you saw on point, okay? There is no need for you to Valk this, and I'd rather you saved it for the final team fight, because now for the final team fight, you're not going to have any of your support ultimates present, whereas it make it a lot easier for you to pocket the, you know, your upcoming Blade basically if you had your Valk, okay? So I don't want you to pop Valk here. There's no reason for you to pop the Valk essentially, okay? Keep it going though. I like how you keep on following up with your Doomfist though with it, okay? So you're not at least, you know, wasting it too much. Nice, okay. So you can hear the Genji saying his blade's ready. That means that is your kind of key moment for us to, what's called, to go and pocket it. The reason why you want to pocket it is because then you can, what's it called, you can outplay this Genji because they don't have the nano boost because they used the nano boost last team fight. Alright, keep it going though. So you do things get slapped. Don't worry too much about him. It'll be alright. I played a Sombra, so I'd be kind of, once again, be kind of played back to how I would do with a Sombra. Played a little bit safer. Genji's, oh, so that's no Genji, so that's fine. I'm hoping your team's going to come back. Nice, so Genji using Blade. You just have to play at point now, because obviously the Genji sit in the back line. Make that G to a piece of cover. Nice, can't do too much about your Moira. She had a bad, what's called, fade there. Nice res. Very, very risky with that. You had an opportunity as soon as you saw the bomb to use your Doomfist to GA into here, by the way. So it means you can play around here. Very, very risky rotation from you there. You had a little bit of a safer one there, but that's all good. Keep going. We end up getting the D.Va before she gets back into mech, which is perfect. Just play passively here, and we do end up winning it. Perfect. Okay. Fritach, I love your use of damage boost, okay? That's my first really key thing I will say to you, okay? I feel like your damage boost is always really, really great, okay? I love as well, certain scenarios, you're being very aggressive and going in with your team, especially with like your Doomfist and your Genji. And once again, I love that as well. That is perfect, okay? Because it means then that we're getting that beam up time. I'm also trying to help get those pickoffs as well, especially on, you did it very, very well on third point, I feel like, okay? Just being aggressive, pushing up, okay? Don't be afraid to do that a tiny bit more, okay? Because you can do it with GA cancels, okay? Because then that means we can get our GA back online really, really quickly. So if the Sombra or anyone does decide to dive us, then we have a GA, you know, basically readily available to get ourselves out, okay? I feel like, well, your positioning overall is good. I want to touch on it in just a second though, because especially when you're playing against dive, you have to be very kind of specific with your positioning, which I guess comes into my first kind of working piece of advice for you, is to stop spamming the super jump, okay? I feel like you have to have your beam on to everyone at all times, so you super just jumping yourself up into the air means you have a better range of everyone available, okay? But in reality, especially when you're playing against dive, that isn't the case, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to basically save your GA for when people are going to dive you, okay? So make sure we're playing in those pieces of cover or playing somewhere that's safe and know that we've got a piece of cover to GA too, especially if someone comes to dive us, okay? Because there were quite a few times where we've just done a super jump up into the air and then someone's gone, ha, boop, you're gone, okay? So it's just all about making sure that we're saving our Gs and playing in some nice cover, basically, and playing our own life first, okay? Don't worry too much about your team, because they can, you know, survive pretty well, to be honest, okay? It's just making sure that we're keeping ourselves alive and having that priority, okay? With your Valks, I could definitely see why you're using Valk off cooldown, okay? A good thing with Valk, okay, is sit down before you need to Valk, or, like, you want to Valk, okay? And think to yourself, who's left? Is this winnable? And can I do what I'm doing without the Valk? If you can say an answer that means no to Valk out of any of them three, don't Valk. Okay? I know Valk isn't the best ult. In fact, it's probably the worst support ultimate, if I'm being honest, okay? But you can still use it for your own survivability, which is what you end up kind of needing to do in these kind of dive compositions. You need to make sure that you're using your, essentially your, you know, what's it called? Your Valks for that self-survivability. So when you kind of either get yourself slightly caught out and need to kind of keep the team fight alive, or B, if you feel like you need to just keep yourself up or get a little bit better positioning over these dive targets, essentially, okay? So just making sure that we're not using that Valk of cooldown, we're kind of asking ourselves those questions before we do end up kind of popping the Valk, basically, okay? But without the Fritach, it was a beautiful VOD, and I really, you know, absolutely loved it. Very, very nice. And I've looked forward as well to seeing your Mercy very, very soon as well. But yeah, so once again, thank you so much to everyone that's been watching this VOD. If you guys do want your own Mercy VOD review, I do talk about it at the beginning of the video. But also as a quick reminder as well, I do have my main YouTube channel, which obviously I have all my kind of own gameplay, so if you guys want to see any of that, that's down in the description, along with my Twitch, where I record basically all of this live, as well as my Discord as well, if you do want to ask any questions when I'm off stream, basically.